Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video I wanted to show you my two favorite rigs for sheepshead fishing, but most importantly, when you should use one rig over the other. Because what it really comes down to is whether or not you're fishing vertically, straight up and down for sheepshead, if you're fishing bridge pilings or dock pilings or seawalls, or if you're fishing at an angle to the structure, when you have to cast to the structure, usually when you're fishing from shore. So there's two rigs that I like to use, and which one I'm going to use is going to vary based on how I'm fishing for sheepshead. So the first rig, and probably the most universal rig that I like to use that works very well, no matter if you're fishing vertically or casting to structure, is going to be a simple dropper rig. This is a rig where you have your hook, up above the weight. You have a weight on the bottom. And I do have another video showing how to tie this rig, which you can also check out. We'll have a link down below if you are on our main website reading the article for this video. But again, simple dropper rig. I've got a number 1 Gamakatsu octopus hook as my hook, and then I've got a 2 to 3 ounce bank sinker on the bottom. And the reason why I like to use a heavy sinker is because it helps keep that line anchored. So if you're casting to structure, your line is usually going to have a bow in it because of the current or the wind. And when you have a good anchor on there or a good amount of weight, that's going to help straighten your line out, and that's going to help you feel the bite better. If you have a big bow in your line, it's going to be tough to feel that bite. So you want your line as tight as possible to, the weight and also the hook. And with the hook being up above the weight, you're going to feel the bite better because you don't have the weight absorbing the shock from the bite. That bite, you're going to feel it. It's attached directly to your main line, going to your rod tip, and it'll be much easier to feel the bite with the hook above the weight. And as I mentioned before, this rig will work great for both situations, whether you're fishing straight up and down structure, straight down a piling. You can have this anchor down on the bottom, fish bite your line, and that shock will go directly through your main line to your rod tip, and you'll be able to feel that bite. And again, also, if you're casting the structure, this works great as well because, again, that anchor, heavy weight, anchor down your line, straighten out your line, get that bow out of your line so you can feel the strike. Now, the other rig that I like to use is just a simple jig head. This is mainly if I'm going to be fishing vertically for sheepshead, dropping straight down pilings or just dropping my line straight down. Because with these jig heads, these are bottom sweeper jig heads. As you can see there, they sit flat on the bottom. And when you have your line straight up, when you go to pull up, it's going to pull that hook point straight up, and it makes for a really good hook set. So jig heads, I will only use them if I'm fishing vertically. And then also, if you don't have jig heads, you can go with a simple, split shot with a number 1 octopus hook. Works just as well. You're basically making your own jig head with that split shot close to the hook, and you pretty much have your own do-it-yourself jig head right there if you don't have an actual jig head to use. So hopefully these tips can help you out if you are trying to decide what type of rig you should be using when sheepshead fishing. Again, the type of rig is going to be dependent upon how you're targeting sheepshead. Again, if you're casting to structure or if you're just dropping straight up and down structure. And if you had to pick one rig, this is the one I would go with, this dropper rig, 20 to 30 pound monofilament. You have your bank sinker down on the bottom, 2 to 3 ounces, and then you have your number 1 octopus hook rigged up above the weight. Anywhere from 1 foot to 1.5 feet above the weight works really well. So I'd definitely like to know your feedback. What's your favorite rig to use when sheepshead fishing based on how you're fishing for sheepshead, or if you just have, a favorite all-around rig that works for all scenarios. We definitely like to know, so drop those comments down below. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our shop page at fishstrong.com, where you can pick up some tackle and gear that you may need on your next trip. And if you're one of our insider members, keep in mind you do get up to 20% off our shop page, so definitely be sure to take advantage of that. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. If you are new to Salt Strong, we are the online fishing club that guarantees you'll start catching more fish while saving money on your favorite tackle and gear. To learn more, head over to saltstrong.com, and we'll see you there.